Coming out this morning. My name's Andy Kendig. I'm working with Lance Schmidt on this presentation today. We both work for a company known as Adama. A few years ago we were known as Makashinagan. If you're a cotton type person, you're probably familiar with this. If you're a rice person, you might be wondering who the heck we are. Yeah, we've been living in the cotton world for a few years. We're a post-patent crop protection company. We are getting big into rice. We have been playing around in cotton for a long time. We're going to talk about weed management predominantly, talk a little bit about our portfolio. We're going to talk about herbicide-resistant weeds, and we're going to talk about program approaches to weed control. Herbicide resistance has gotten to be a near crisis situation. This is my personal opinion, not even company opinion, but it's fundamentally the same in rice, cotton, corn, and beans. You hear people in the Midwest talking resistance. We talk resistance in rice. And frankly, I think resistance has gotten beyond rotation and residuals. You need to do that. It's now time to take the next step and watch closely and do cultural and mechanical practices as best you can. Use the chemistry, use it smartly, but be ready to react if something fails. Again, the situation with Palmer is very, very serious. We have ALS resistance, glyphosate resistance, PPO resistance to reflex and Valor type chemistry. HPPD, I don't know if this is really relevant to cotton and rice. It's a big thing in Midwest where they used a lot of Callisto type products. Their pigweed up there is escaping that. Who cares? It's Corn Belt. Well, the next generation of traits in cotton and soybeans are going to be the HPPD chemistry. So here we have this chemistry already starting to leak, and we don't have it available for us yet. We have indications of issues with dicamba, indications of issues with 2,4-D. This one scares me, the group 15 chemistry, the Lasso dual warrant type products. They found it in Arkansas and Illinois, where weeds are escaping that. Continuing to watch Liberty type crops, and if anything sneaks through Liberty, nothing's happened yet, but it'll be a bad day when that happens. And then I put it in red font, grasses. The proverbial crap's hitting the fan in Tennessee right now with grasses escaping, things like glyphosate, or even sneaking through our old grass chemistry. Why do we have resistance? It's very, very, very simple. Weeds are adaptable. I always like that picture. One other thing, I may get kicked out of this. This is called the conservation tillage meeting. I just want us to all pause and think about how much chemistry we put out for a good burn down. Be careful, we are dumping chemistry. I apologize to Tennessee people, but to the Delta folks, that's a really good mode of action for resistance management. One other nitpicky thing, it's not the hipper I'm talking about. I'm talking about this ground over here. Our wonderful adaptable weeds. Mare's tail kind of enjoys it if you re-hip the old beds. It gets rid of all the other junk for them. All right, on the cotton side, we have a product called Cotoran. We like it. For those of us who are really old, way back when we did not have over-the-top selective herbicides. And you put down a good pre, you hope you got an activating rain on it. You got a height differential, then you came in on 5-inch tall cotton and drove 2.5 miles an hour and sprayed more Cotoran underneath the cotton. It wasn't wonderful, but that's what we did. And back then, Cotoran was the premier product for your broadleaf weed control. Roundup era came along. We stopped using pre-emerge chemistry because the post-emerge stuff is easier, a little bit more convenient. But now, olden days, modern days, what hasn't changed? Pre-emergence herbicides give you flexibility for your post-timing. It rains. It rained a lot last year. Last year's tough to talk about. We used less pre's. We really should have used more due to all the rainfall delays, and obviously alternative modes of action. Here's the other thing about pre-emergence herbicides. They're integral to protecting all this new chemistry. Dicamba, Enlist systems. we're probably going to wear them out if we are not careful with that. Well, forgive me for this, I'm getting a little bit technical. This is a really complicated chart, but I like it. If you're a weed scientist, you start dropping names about chemistries and modes of actions, and the chemistries and modes of actions are two different things. If you really care about this, I'll tell you how to get it after the deal, but what's kind of cool, Cotoran, our product, actually has 2 sites of action that provide weed control. Just letting you guys know that gives you a little edge in resistance prevention and weed management. This is our own other product, Direx. We actually like to see Direx as a burn down or post-direct, but similar mode of action, only one. Prometrin, Caparol, good product, but only one mode of action. So we're a little bit proud of the Cotoran for helping you out with that. Here's kind of your cotton portfolio, and Lance, I left Lance's rice herbicides off of this list, but we have the yellow herbicides up here. The guys in Arkansas, pretty widespread resistance to that. Please do watch this group 15 stuff closely. This is your dual type chemistry. We have a product called Parallel PCS. It's a metolachlor, works great. We want you to use it, but keep your eyes open. There's the new growth regulators. We've got to watch the grass chemistry, DIMS and FOPs. Glufosinate hanging in there. Again, our PPO chemistry, reflex, Valor type stuff. It's sad that that used to be really, really, really good pigweed control, and now we have resistance issues with it. In cotton, we actually like a competitive product called Break, Fluoridone. Works great as a tight mix partner with Cotoran, but using these things smartly, using these things in a program approach are what we need to do. And I'm serious about this. And this isn't the answer, but it's part of the answer. Could be some cultivation in the flatlands. I've never really liked cover crops, but maybe it's time to think about it. You'll see people talking about windrows and seed production. I bet you in a few years that may be something we're doing, and it's important for the crop to shade out the weeds, stuff you've heard before. Again, our message, Cotoran's a foundation. It's a great resistance prevention program. We like the tank mixes. You can add a pendimethalin product, gives you grasses, gives you additional pigweed control, gives you an additional mode of action. Prometrin, that's Caparol. A lot of people like to tank mix it. We support that tank mix, but I'll talk a little later. Be careful about shaving the rates too much in that tank mix. And again, the brake product, something we don't object to, but if you use it, make sure you're using a good rate of Cotoran, 1.5 to 2 pints of that. Another thing we're proud about with Cotoran, it's good on broadleaf weeds. In this chart, we see Cotoran control at basically it's 2, 4, and 6 weeks after application. I like to show how long a pre-emerge lasts. A grower you want to spray before 6 weeks after planting, but the value of the residual is important. But this is Morning Glory, and Cotoran at 2 pints is giving us between 80 and 90% control. Caparol is not quite as good on the Morning Glories. The Warrant product, that's not a large seeded broadleaf weed herbicide, and you put famecifin on the soil surface, you're not doing quite as good there either. So Cotoran's good for your difficult broadleaf weeds. Because Palmer's so bad, Cotoran's very good on Palmer, but we want to see a tank mix partner with that. Don't shave the rates. There's a pint of Cotoran. It's nice to think about, but you're getting less than complete weed control. We very much favor, it is soil type dependent, but typical soils, we're talking about 2 pints or a full quart rate. More modes of action. Here's the tank mixes. And again, we're tank mix friendly. Really like this pendimethalin tank mix. That's a Prowl type product. Prowl and Cotoran, little boost over what we get from the Cotoran alone. Talk to, I have good friends that work for Syngenta and sell Caparol. He said, yeah, I don't like this treatment. I'd like to see 1.5 pints of Cotoran and 1.5 pints of Caparol on a medium textured soil. Sands, sure, 1 pint and 1 pint, but we really need to be bumping that rate up. This is pigweed. There's the brake product in tank mix. Nothing wrong with that. And here's something crazy. I get asked from time to time, I'll talk about it briefly later, should I use Warrant or should I use Cotoran? That's micro-encapsulated acetochlor. I hate being asked whether to pick between one or the other. You really ought to be thinking about using both. It's a program approach. This is a Liberty program. I took this picture 15 years ago. Pigweed were a little bit big. It snuck through the glufosinate. When you had a pre down there, it gave you the needed head start and the application flexibility to get the job done. This is just showing off, sometimes, again, this is like a month, 6 weeks after application. This one's broken, you put them together, you're still getting really good weed control. Again, you should have sprayed before that. Again, I get asked, should I use Cotoran or should I use Warrant? I don't know why we're picking between the two. Now, honestly, Cotoran goes down pre-emerge behind the press wheel, Warrant as a post-emerge over the top, and those are, there's 3 modes of action and good for resistance prevention. And again, your spectrums, good thing there. For old people, we've only had Cotoran for what, 6 years? At Adama. 9. I remember the olden days. It wasn't the best performer in terms of its mixing behavior. At Adama, we like to reformulate things and improve them, and that's what we did. Very clear message here. Don't abuse anything in your mixing. You want to have good agitation. I don't like to see things sit overnight, but now we have improved Cotoran to where it acts like most other chemistry there. That's our full portfolio. Just letting you know we have a lot of chemistry. We like to help guys mix and match, develop programs. Lance is going to talk about what we're doing in rice. 2 years ago I made this slide and it didn't have that stuff listed on it, so that's exciting. We have an insecticide called Diamond. It's another program insecticide. It is an insect growth regulator. It extends your plant bug control. We're going up against Transform, Centric, Orthene, whoops, stop it. Bidrin and Carbine. We can talk a minute about actually tank mixing Diamond, but 7 days after treatment, we're getting the best suppression of plant bugs. You want to start spraying Diamond early bloom. Here's what's really cool. On the right-hand side, awesome insecticide program with Centric, followed by Transform, followed by Orthene Plus Brigade. I will tell you that the bug control there was very good, but this is cotton yield. This happens to be seed cotton, but we add in a Diamond application to, this is the same, but this is that plus Diamond, 50 pounds more lint, second Diamond application, another 50 pounds worth of lint. This is just one trial, but we hear this from the university entomologists. They, time and time again, they usually, almost always see a little yield bump from including Diamond in their plant bug program. All right, I'm going to summarize and turn things over to Lance to talk about our rice side of things. But Cotoran's is, really the best pre-emerge for broadleaf weeds. You're getting 2 modes of action. We like all the tank mixes, but make sure you're not compromising your Cotoran rate. This is the rest of our portfolio. Again, we have other herbicides, we have insecticides, we actually have some really good defoliants, and we're getting into the rice business and we're excited about that. We're also committed to having good service of our products. Any quick cotton questions? We'll turn it over to Lance Schmidt.